All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We have now reached phase 2 for our attack on Drheron Primus. As you can see, I've already decided that we're going to split our forces and create a two-pronged assault. Northern force consisting primarily of the A-26 Expedition's infantry, a contingent of my Space Marines, and likely a contingent from our Salamander brethren, are going to take the fight to the north, heading to the west and attacking Objective Bourbon and Objective Scotch. These two objectives likely are going to only comprise of like forces or maybe slightly heavier forces than what the A-26 is already consisting of themselves. I have every confidence that they're going to be able to actually engage in that and destroy them with immense abhorse. Speed will be the absolute necessity of what I'm now calling Task Force Alpha, the Northern Force, as their ability to take, clear, and move through those objectives, making their way down to Objective Run and Objective Beer, this AO that is roughly right here. Ping. Still can't ping. We'll figure out later. Objective Beer and Objective Rum have within it, as we know, two void signatures which are representative of Titan class super heavies, and likely a contingent of infantry left over from the original objectives. Task Force Alpha's sole goal in that mind is to try to get to the first two objectives as quickly as possible, secure any intel that can be have. If you can secure any HVTs, fantastic. If not, do not worry about it. Making your way to Objective Beer as fast as possible is paramount. As to the south, Task Force Bravo, consisting primarily of the Myrmidon Auxilia Hydra forces, associated Venator forces, a contingent of my Space Marines from the first Phalanx Terminators, their own Knight attached, and likely the Titan attached to them. They will be engaging the far more difficult forces. Actually, Owen, can I get a Chaos Lehman Russ, please?
I'll copy.
Just
continue.
Yeah, I put the wrong thing down. I asked for the wrong thing.
Hey, wake up.
Yes, Gino, if you're here.
I am sorry, personal problem.
User was
For
moved
some
to your
reason, Achilles was muted for me, so I just realized that was a thing.
Don't worry about
Hey, Achilles.
What's up?
You're streaming this, right?
Yes.
Just letting you know, no ping went out to say you were streaming.
I just picked it.
There you go.
All right. Task Force Bravo will make their way to Objective Gin. Objective Gin is the headquarters location for the enemy's sole armor division. Bear in mind, that is likely consisting of about 270 armored vehicles in total. many of those being Chaos Leman Russes, some of them being far heavier. It is the task of Task Force Bravo to eliminate all of them, or at least majority of them, allowing them to continue to Objective Rum. Objective Rum will likely have one of the enemy's mechanized infantry divisions, which should be fairly easy to clear thereafter. The crux of the problem comes whenever the forces are linking up in between Objective Rum and Objective Beer. The two Titans will likely pose a threat to our battle-weary forces, which will mean that it's mainly going to fall upon what's left of the armored vehicles that we have left with us, the Titan and the Knight, to take out two separate Titans, along with whatever else armor that they can muster from those periods. Make no mistake, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be an absolute slog of a fight, and it is going to be tiresome. However, if we manage to secure victory in this, we would have effectively broken the enemy's back in this entire fight for this planet. After this point, the only force that the enemy can muster is whatever forces we haven't destroyed thus far, along with their sole infantry force, their sole infantry division that they have left, and whatever Astartes forces or traitor Astartes forces are left on the planet. Subordinate commanders. Let's start with Task Force Alpha and discuss what your attack plan is going to be for Objective Bourbon, up to the north.
At this moment in time, Task Force Alpha will be split into two forces, one called Group Anvil, and the other will be Group Hammer. We'll be going down the main MSR, going from Route Green down into Bourbon as a whole. We will split into two. We will hit under and we will hit above Bourbon. Once Bourbon is cleared out, we are fast pacing this because Bourbon, we believe, does not have as heavy as an enemy content. Once we hit the fork, before hitting Scotch, we are going to hit Objective Scotch's first hive city, the bottom from the south side and the east side. We will take the city. We'll push up and take the dead city that cannot be seen on this map above it. Once we have cleared the last, we will then move as a team down to Objective Beer and clear it out. If at this time Group Alpha has finished its objectives and Bravo is still hidden, still needing assistance, we will move down and assist them in their objectives. If the other side is as well, we will I do believe Bravo will meet up with us if they are complete first. That is, at this moment in time, everything that we have.
Fairly straightforward. Does anybody have any particular questions regarding that?
It's like non-Primarch.
Do you know about how many Space Marines can we expect to accompany the entire force for this next phase?
I do not believe there has been a head count yet, but I think we should be able to at least fill out the Terminator team and then a tactical or half, well, what's the word? Half a tactical squad at most to support them on the other offensive.
Very well.
Welcome you.
I do believe we are allotting 3 Terminators to Task Force Bravo, so that would probably leave 5 Space Marines, 5 Hoplites to go to Task Force Alpha. Captain Fire,
Yes.
Captain Firefly. About how many pilots and birds are we going to have in the air for this fight?
Unfortunately, we are down a bit, so we will only have our Atlas logistical bird and a Reaper cast support aircraft on station for this op.
Okay. Then this is what I propose to try to make things a little bit easier here. Salamanders say that they are going to bring roughly about 5 of their auxilia to the fight. Those 5 I am sending to the north unless Fabricator Locum Ravna desires more guns at her on her task force.
The discussion I had with Owen is that we have quite heavy equipment on our side. That's why I kindly told him to keep infantry up with him.
Very well. Then I'll deploy the entire whatever the Salamanders bring to the fight. I'll deploy totally to the Task Force Alpha then.
Yes.
It will be mid-user.
Okay. That should give you enough to be able to clear out the relatively lighter objectives that you guys have. My only concern will be for Objective Scotch, as that is a full infantry division.
Yeah.
It's a motorized division, so they're not wielding a lot of heavy stuff, but they will tend to use quick attacks. I would ask that probably keep Reclusiarch Tiger in that particular fight, Battle Sergeant Chino.
We should be able to get that done if he shows up.
As I am suspecting that to supplement their force, they're probably going to use quite a bit of, well, I believe the vernacular is warp fuckery.
Yes.
And I do know that Tiger loves absolutely wrecking face with fuckery. Okay. That should work then. Right? Fabricator Locum.
Yes.
Let's hear the strategy for Task Force Bravo.
So we are going to do the most simple thing. We are going to have the Rangers act as both shield and transport for the Terminators. They are going to go in the front, so if they hit anything, the Terminators is going to step behind the Rangers' vehicles and use them as shield and fire forward. Tyr is going to constantly be on the right flank, Venator on the left flank. We are going to go the lower path in. If able and we have the sight, we're going to start sniping from Hill 44 and take out as much as we can from a distance. We are going to use quite a lot of artillery, so there will be a strict no one moves until I give the order to move. If we can snipe from Hill 44, we are going to send parts of our heavy to the where you see the supply marker, you have a little bit forest. So we probably will leave the Terminators on Hill 44, move down the rest, and do a pincer on Objective Gin. And by the time we have, sorry, by the time we have, how to put it, put enough firepower on that objective, we will move in and clear out what's rest. Moving up to Objective Rom, we are expecting to meet probably reinforcement in either of the two crossings. So again, we will use the Rangers as transport for the Terminators. And at Objective Rom, kind of rinse and repeat. Go through the forest. And pre-bombardment. That's why we have a Wyvern with us.
And my Space Marines can field a whirlwind if you so choose. Though I think it would take
I
one
have
away
asked
from
Legion
those.
for a whirlwind. If they are going to feel it, we will see. And if they're feeling it, I will make pretty good use of it.
Very well. Okay. So let's talk about the unspoken objective. I do not know how the unit or how the enemy will respond with their Titans. They have 3 total left based upon Oxpec scans of the planet. Just to make it known for everybody, Owen, can I get a... actually, you know what? I'm just going to clone this. I'm going to clone this guy right here. Clone that guy. Based upon Ospec scans, towards the lower peninsula, where we are specifically avoiding moving towards, is the enemy's one of the enemy's Titans and their last division of infantry. It is also one of their last large requisition points on the planet, assuming that we are able to clear all the objectives that we have here today. I do not know how they'll respond once we are cutting the rest of their forces off and systematically destroying them. What concerns me most is about the 2 Titans that are off to our far, far west. Let's talk contingency plans. Colonel Owen, if the Titans decide that you are the greater threat and begin to move upon your forces as you are at Objective Beer or Objective Scotch, how are you going to respond?
If you decide to hit us at Objective Scotch, we will fall back, entrench, and call in our friendly Titan to provide assistance, while also requesting air assets if they can to hit them hard. This will be literally the last cause, as air assets and as well as artillery are Bravo's first choice, with the heavier assets in south.
Very well. Sergeant Gino, I know that the Stars forces have been allotted Power Fist. Are you able to deploy those with those Legion forces that are traveling with Task Force Alpha?
That should be no problem at all. We can definitely get one of our 2 jetpack adepts in there, and they should have no trouble taking out the Titan, provided they have enough covering fire to be able to approach and land on it.
Very well. That could be an additional contingency for you. Call your alternate plan, Colonel Owen. Space Marines have trained on how to take out Titans in a tactical sense. I asked them to try to figure out a way to capture the Titans. Apparently, this is just not something that's able to be done. The Motoratai and Princeps really just don't get out of their Titan whenever it's going down, so that's fine. We'd rather just destroy them anyway.
Yeah, fine.
Fabricator Locum Rafa. Should the enemy Titans decide that your force is the far more greater threat and begin to move upon you as you are entering Objective Rum, or God forbid if they're entering while you're at Objective Jin, what contingencies do you have in place for that?
I have 3 Terminators, I have Warhound, and I have a Knight. The Knight can use the Warhound as a shield to move in close, and if the Knight gets in close enough, the enemy Warhounds are dead.
Sounds tricky.
Likewise, the Terminators have firepower enough to take them down.
Do we actually confirm that? Is that actually real?
What?
Can the Terminators actually take down Titans?
With their superior firepower, along with everything else, they do make some better work of it, yes. It depends on their armament, though.
I will say with their mobility and them being a priority target, they might not have a lot of staying power, especially compared to the Knight.
I concur with that.
The Knight and the Titan, though, should be able to take out an enemy
Yes.
Titan.
Yes.
And I do believe the Knight's melee weapon can make quick work of it.
Oh yes,
You can, yes.
really quick.
Okay.
And with the Night Pilot I have for this op, I'm not concerned.
Nor am I. Very well. Let's talk worst case scenarios. If Task Force Bravo becomes essentially combat ineffective, we're talking essentially here, we are out of tanks, as we have 9 tanks that we can throw at this fight. Technically 10 if you want to count your Macarius. If we end up exhausting that supply, that will severely cripple Task Force Bravo's capability of trying to engage the rest of the enemy armor that they are engaging, which, I reiterate, numbers around 270 armored vehicles. If we are to lose the Titan, that will make Task Force Bravo severely less combat effective. We're slightly relying upon the Titan's capabilities this op to do a lot of heavy work, along with Scion Druidin and the Knight Tier making quick work of armor as well. However, if any one of these 3 assets are completely eliminated, this will mean that Task Force Bravo is no longer able to move as quickly as they once were. This will mean that Task Force Alpha will have to basically take up the slack. Make it known to your troops that this is a possibility that we are weighing in. The operation will move forward. Once we are committed to these actions, there is no turning back. The enemy will continue the enemy will continue to engage upon us until we are either completely off this planet or we have completely eliminated them. In doing this particular battle plan, we are kicking the hornet's nest. The upside is, if we manage to clear it out, the enemy has no ability to stop us. We control not only the complete, the vast majority of this planet's manufacturing capabilities, but additionally, we also completely have broken their ability to fight. They have simply infantry to throw at us and a Titan. If that Titan doesn't start walking. If the call goes out, Task Force Alpha will have to be there to be able to help Task Force Bravo. Vice versa. Vice versa. If Task Force Alpha becomes completely entrenched and is unable to move from their location without significant losses, understand that Task Force Bravo Task Force Alpha is essentially combat ineffective. Yes, you guys have a nearly inexhaustible supply of arms and ammunition to throw at the enemy. Yes, we have a great deal of life to throw and commit to this fight. However, if you are unable to maneuver, you are combat ineffective. I've seen the infantry do great things. They do hold a dear spot in my heart. But I also am completely aware of I am also completely aware of human limitations. Keep in mind, both of you commanders, that if the call goes out between you two, if one says we are surrounded, we need help, be ready to deploy at least a portion of your force to go and help. Air should be on the standby for that, Captain Firefly.
Aye.
Your ears should be open for that particular call. If somebody says we are surrounded, we need help, or something along those lines, you'll know it. Be ready to chop one of your gunships over there to pick them up and take them off. For the Astartes, I'm willing to commit our drop pods to this act. If, by chance, one of the two task force completely become entrenched and encircled, I am willing to commit drop pods to put you guys into the fight.
I see. Well,
We have like 10 of them, I think.
I'm just trying to figure out how we'd get to the drop pods in time.
It'd be basically a redeploy.
Okay. I see.
Yeah.
Just look at whatever we have on the field, leave that there, respawn, re-equip, and hop in on our.
Pick them in one of the chimeras, or it's something that will bring them back, basically.
All right.
Or if you're lucky enough that a reinsert is happening at the same time that the call goes out, hitch a ride on the Valkyrie and fly back.
Understood.
Microphone muted.
Yes, Alec, I am reading it.
Microphone activated.
All right. So, let's go ahead and begin with our request for purchasing requisition. We have 20 points allotted. I am tracking right now 13 to be used. 1 for the purchase of the Knight, and 3 for the purchase of Terminators. Is there any other additional requests that anybody has? Again, this is for purchasing.
From Alpha, I went through all of the commanders. At the moment in time, they do not request them, but I would prefer a few more chimeras just in case.
We have 20 something.
I expect a lot of chimeras to be used in this. If there's leftover requisition points.
Very well. I'll see what we can do. Task Force Bravo, Armor, Hydra, Velite.
Mechanicus, we have a lot of things still on the list that we haven't touched.
Very well.
I believe the only thing that could possibly be needed would be a Macarius Vanquisher, but we have plenty of Lehmans to subsidize. We are way more experienced with Lehmans anyway.
Very well.
One thing I'd ask Ogor if he was here, but unfortunately he is not. The chimeras, are they chimeras can be changed variants, or are they just chimeras?
Looks like I saw on the listing, Chimeros are different. Chimeradons, it looks like they're different as well, but they all cost 1 point, I think.
I prefer to have a few chimeras.
Yeah, I believe they weren't switchable. That's why they were listed out separately. I think Lehmans were the only thing that could be swapped.
If I'm then have a few chimeras at the back would be much preferable, as they are basically light armor killers.
Very well.
The chimeras, from what I can tell from the requisition page, request 2 points each.
Yes. I believe we have 7 points remaining.
Yeah, if I could dedicate 4 points there, that'd be great.
Very well. Go ahead and just make that into a list then.
From everybody that was requested.
For
Yes.
Velite, we're requesting a second set of additional drones. We've been granted access to the experimental darter. And if we plan on attempting to fulfill the second objective, not the secondary objective, we might go through quite a few, as it's actually rather difficult to fly those through confined spaces.
How much do they cost?
These would be things. I find them now.
So, while we're doing math here, another worst case scenario situation would be if the Titan force from the south and the infantry division from the south end up pincering at around objective Rum.
Yes, my biggest concern.
Yes. Well, I'm fully confident that we can take out the Titan. I believe it's the infantry force that would leave us fairly open. 3 Titans. I mean, we engaged that last week with a knight and a Titan of our own.
2 Titans. Yeah, 2 Titans, 4 knights. We took them down with 1 Titan and 1 knight and 1 Macarius, along with everything else that was on the field at the time.
Yeah.
I have a suggestion.
Yes.
That bottom corner with that 1 knight, Titan and the infantry. I say we just have air, no restrictions, just blast anything they see over them. The amount of firepower that they can dish out.
Given that the fact that air is down to, sorry, I meant to put this in, and I did not realize how low we were going to be for pilots this weekend until I just heard about it now. Air is weapons free, the entire op.
Oh, okay.
The only problem with something like a Titan is we do have a lot of firepower, but we don't have enough firepower to kill the Titan with 1 sortie, and by the time we would go back, rearm, and come back, it's probably going to be back
shields
at full.
Are back, yeah.
That, just like when you're fighting a knight, it is a case of just laying everything on it, just consistent damage.
Okay.
So this may be a situation where we all understand that Titans are unique enemies, that they require a great deal of expenditure of ammunition just to take them down because their shields want to come back up all the time, on top of the fact that you need heavy weapons to actually do damage to them while the shields are consistently being wheeled down. So, the question I would pose to the Fabricator Locum here would be, do you think that we will be able to put enough sustained damage on a Titan while our Titan is engaging it if you found yourself into it in your own pincer maneuver?
I mean, that's why we have artillery.
Can Battlesteria rain artillery down like that?
In that case, we just mark it and tell Ballisteria to just keep firing. And hopefully we have the whirlwind as well. And likewise, the wyvern with the mortars should irritate the shield.
Very well. This would also fall upon you, Lieutenant Overkill. Your tanks will need to basically maneuver themselves into very safe locations while still being able to provide consistent fire on a Titan. You've fought them before, you understand. They're not going to go down easy, but they can go down. My main concern for you will then be the flanking infantry that will try to begin to whittle you down as well.
There is a personal concern I have. How much in the way of anti-infantry will Task Force Bravo have?
You'll have the Terminators as well as the Rangers.
Okay, because I know an odd thing. I mean, that would leave Venator with no AT capabilities, but a Punisher could be used. But we are only going to have confirmed 4, maybe a 5th person with us, so we are going to only have 1 tank operational.
I'll copy on that.
Yeah. We knew that this wasn't going to be an easy fight. It does mean that you're only using 1 tank at a time, so that's going to make your supplies last a lot longer as well.
Mhm.
So, Lieutenant Overkill, I'll say make it a hell of a fight then.
Yes. That is a reason why, with what we're going up against and only 1 tank, I'm going to be using an Executioner, and that hopefully will have enough impact on the Void Shields of the enemy Warlord or Warhounds to drop them.
Very well. You'll need a resupply vehicle. You only have like 10 rounds, I think. Or something like that. I don't remember how many it is.
Four racks of 10, and it does fire fairly fast too. It's a very rapid tank. 1 shot from an Executioner will take out an enemy Leman and decrew it. Unless you fire at the back, then it will destroy it outright, I believe.
Fabricator Locum Rafna and Colonel Owen. Keep in mind, if you are able to have your infantry forces identify them, I would like the enemy commanders. That is intel that we could definitely use on our end.
If we do, we'll snap him up, organize a transport to get him out.
We will try, but I won't promise anything.
I will say, due to the amount of heavy armor, it'd be preferable to keep Wrench on the south side of the island. There was talks between me and Rafna about splitting Wrench in two. To have two Wrenches, one on the north, one on the south. Has that been confirmed to be possible, Rafna?
As it says in my oppo, that command is going to be in the back with repair abilities.
Solid on that.
This will be a hard fight, but I believe if we can make sure that we can keep open communications, work with each other, and keep a cool head, we can get through this. Is there any other questions?
I have two.
Yes.
First one is, well, we're committing a lot of resources, pretty much full aggressive, long distances. What is our contingency plan for deep striking Night Lords?
Trader Astartes have the Trader Astartes have. I'm just gonna be real honest with you. Fuck them up.
Solid on that.
When you see that, when you see them, kill them on sight. Don't even let them get a chance to get off their drop pods. It's been the same plan since the beginning. I know that they're there. I've seen that they're there. I've killed so many of them thus far. I also know that they don't have a whole lot left. So I know that their forces have been unknown, but they're not committing their entire legion to this. So we've gone through quite a bit of them.
Yeah.
Task Force Alpha. For Task Force Alpha, call it up. Make sure that your Legion contingent know that they're in the area.
Yep.
And let them deal with it.
Yep, our Legion will be literally used literal as a hammer to just smash them down.
As for Task Force Bravo, you have plenty of resources to be able to kill Trader Astartes like that. Go to town.
Oh, the moment they land, they are dead.
Yeah, there you like. Not only do the Skitarii weaponry do a significant amount of damage to the Astartes armor, but you have enough super heavy at your arsenal to eliminate them. And with both Tyr and the Titan having Auspex capabilities, you can see them coming from a mile away almost. Make sure that you guys are sharing that information well, and you should do fine. I'll be bouncing between both of the task forces. If I see them there, you can be damn sure that I will kill them. All of them.
Apologies. When I said deep strike, I meant drop pods into our FOBs. Not behind our enemy lines. Behind our friendly lines.
I know for Bob Hammer, I believe that's where your talk is going to be located, correct? Fabricator Local?
Hammer is going to be more or less empty.
Yeah, okay. If they drop pod on Fob Hammer, I don't really think they're going to have anything there.
No, because the moment we leave Hammer, I think we decided, Owen, that respawn is going to move up to The
Yes.
top one.
Yep. Once we step off, we spawn on Hammer will be the lead, but we can leave a transponder on there to trick the Night Lords.
Oh, we can mine the base before we leave.
Exactly. We mine the FOB behind us. Put something down to make them believe we're still there, and once they decide to drop all down, they just die.
I am perfectly okay with that idea. If they do try to attack Fort Aquila, they'll be met with basically everything that's still sitting at that base. As well. I do believe the Terminators are capable of teleportarium, so they can also teleport back there as well. And I'll be flying around, and I can go back there and kill them as well. And if worse comes to worse, on a reinsert run, the Valkyrie can bring back a certain amount of force to be able to engage those forces as well. Call that primary, contingent, and alternate plans.
Understood.
Okay.
My second question.
Yes.
I don't know if it was mentioned. Why? I apologize. I didn't hear it. The Titan and the infantry at the bottom. Yeah, obviously it's a concern point. Is there a reason why we're not going from Jin down like this to deal with it and then move up?
Time.
So that we can't be pincered, or at least not as easily?
It's a time constraint.
Time constraint? Okay.
It's a time constraint, and dually, it is also a ploy. If I am able to completely eliminate the enemy armor contingent and eliminate 2/3 of their Titan reserves that they have left, because they've already committed a main force against us already, as well as eliminate 2 of their infantry divisions, all they have left is 1,200 soldiers plus a Titan. My gamble in this is that we can break their spirit and take whatever remaining stuff they have left in a attempt at a surrender.
Gotcha.
I'm hoping that if they do that, we can take those additional resources and commit them to the next fight. Mainly it's due to time.
I could
Please.
give Ballisteria free range on firing at that target.
If needed.
Do we
Go ahead.
do we rattle the cage at the start, or do we do it while we head to the last objective? We're going to face Titans either way. That is a no-brainer on here. Do we fight them on our terms or their terms? Yes.
We can try and keep eyes on them, and if they're just going to stand there, kind of wait to see what happens, then artillery can come in and take them out before they have a chance to move. Or if they start moving, we can let people know, and then they can react to that if necessary.
Yeah. If you find that there's nothing left in those tunnels, or nothing of value in those tunnels, go ahead and reposition yourself so you're keeping an eye on them. Or position a drone, however you see fit.
That's good, yeah.
The island itself is relatively small, so the mini Harpy itself can basically cover almost the entire thing in a single loop.
Yeah, once you get that
Sounds like a
thing
plan.
above 500,000 meters, it can actually peer down through the fog pretty effectively.
Good. And let's do that then. If we have to fight them, it's I've long understood that that is a chance that we have to take, and it's something I know of. It's just when we'll have to fight them. I'm hoping that we don't have to at all, and that we can actually just force a surrender and reclaim a great deal of resources that the Imperium lost 10,000 years ago. However, if that's not the case, then we should be prepared for a prolonged battle. Are there any other concerns or comments or questions?
Not for myself.
Not from Alpha.
Not from Legion.
None from me.
None from Bravo.
Very well. And I believe we have our plan. Please begin briefing your subordinate leaders. Make sure your troopers understand the plan as well. And let's have some fun tomorrow. Ave Imperator.
By Imperator.
Ave Imperator.
Our Imperator.
Microphone muted. Sound muted.
Everybody, look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Be prepared for a long fight, as this particular operation will likely take a while. Though there is enough fun for everybody to be had. See you tomorrow.